Live, guys.
Hey, we're live. Welcome everybody to Hump Day Hangouts. This is episode 387. Today is 420, or the 20th of April.
420?
Yeah, it's 420. So depending on where you live, what you do, that may be something funny for you. If not, at least you're here getting some good information. If you've got questions, you can go ahead and put them on the page. If you're checking out the replay, it means you're probably watching us on YouTube, and you can always ask questions ahead of time at semanticmastery.com/HDHO. Head over there, write your question, try to keep it to one, maybe two, and then go back to YouTube, subscribe, so you get updates when we post the replays. And we also chop up all the videos into little bite-sized pieces so you can check out the answer to your question and everybody else's if you want to learn some more. So with that said, I want to say hi to the guys real quick before we jump into the questions. So Chris, gonna start with you. How are you doing on this fine Wednesday?
Yeah, like it's quite nice here. Good weather as usual, and yeah, like it's we got so much good things going on and stuff. I'm fantasizing about a really bright future for everyone here. So yeah, like it's exciting times. Like all I can say at the moment, like stay tuned. Like it's worth it.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we got a couple things we want to touch on that I know are going to deal with a little bit of what Chris was saying, but real quick, Bradley, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. Just excited. I guess Chris is right. We got a ton of things going, like almost too much, but they're all good, and they all work. They all kind of complement each other. So it's a good thing. It's
nice.
It's a good time. So.
Yeah, it's funny. I was like, man, I feel like I see you guys a lot more now. And I'm like, well, not any more than usual. I realized Jenny, for my wife, she got some of those digital picture frames where you can like upload photos or use Google Photos. And so there's obviously a bunch of pictures of our wedding. And these guys were there. And so I see a bunch of those pictures. And I was like, oh, that's why. I'm like, man, I see you guys all the time now. It's like walking around the living room and like, see the picture of Bradley with the wig on, or all of us out there before, or it was after the wedding. I can't recall. So anyways, just funny thoughts.
Yeah, man, like I gotta say, we gotta repeat this because that wedding picture was one of the very best performing ad images. So
there we go. Well, we'll have what's it called, like renewal of the vows or something. I'm not going to keep getting remarried. I don't want to do that. I don't think Jenny would like that.
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. Maybe we do I don't know, like
awesome. Well,
semantic mastery event or whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely. That'd be fun. Let's see. We got a lot of things we wanted to cover, and we got some really good questions today. But Bradley, I wanted to touch base in the mastermind as usual. I know a lot's been going on over there, and this one I know we can't talk a whole lot about, but you've gotten some good results, I believe, with some testing you were doing for Google business profiles, and then recently some mastermind members are getting the chance to beta test some stuff, right?
Yeah, we behind the scenes have been working with a developer to get some a Google business signals service created. Like, in other words, we've learned how to automate quite a bit of the kind of signals that we can use to manipulate Google Maps. It's specifically for maps. And many people that are probably, if anybody's familiar with Brock Meisner's course about manipulating Google Maps with data, that's data manipulation and signals manipulation. So it's not just CTR, click-through rate manipulation, or what I've been calling it CT spam for years, so click-through spam. That's part of it, but that's not all of it. Like, CTR manipulation tools or bots, there's many of those out there. I use 4 of them actually. But that's not what this is for. This, I mean, there's the part of the overall service is does include click-through manipulation signals, but it's more than that. If, again, anybody that's familiar with Brock Meisner's course, we've figured out a way to automate a big part of that. There's still a manual intervention. There has to be. We haven't figured out a way to entirely automate it yet. So anyways, we've been working with a developer that to be able to provide that as a done for you service. We're not selling access to the app, and we will not sell access to the app. It's because the whole problem with just giving people access to the app is the same problem that I see in the CTR groups, right? The Facebook groups for any of the CTR tools, CTR Booster, I use that a lot for referral traffic. The Viper tools, I've been using that for a year and a half now, almost a year and a half. And that's Michael Bowe's group. And I see the same questions in every one of these CTR groups. And that's, people don't know what they always want to know. How much should I send? How many search and clicks should I send? And how many, you know, this and that. And there's the same question comes up over and over and over again. And we often also find out that people are way overdoing it, which is a negative signal, right? If you way overdo click-through rate activity, it's unnatural, then that's a negative ranking signal. And so we don't want to offer it as the ability for people to come in and just purchase or use the app, because the same issues are going to arise that I see in every one of the damn groups, which is people don't know what to do, or they do it too much. And oftentimes, more often than not knowing what to do, people are too aggressive. And that, again, could be a negative ranking factor. So we are going to do it as 100% done for you. In other words, you come in, you subscribe on a per location basis. So again, this is strictly for Google Maps, Google Business Profiles. So however many Google Business Profiles you want to subscribe to, it's a set fee per location, and we handle it all for you. It does click-through rate manipulation and engaging on the Google Maps profile. So it does search and click, it does brand searches. Once it lands on the Google Maps profile, it will actually engage with it. We'll look at reviews, images, your photos, menu or service items, click on posts, for example. We can ask questions. Questions are very, very important for Google Business, guys. If you can manipulate that, which we do now, as long as you're responding to the questions, it's a huge signal, right? If you have a profile, ask a question to the Google Maps, you know, submit a question directly through the Google Maps profile. As long as the business or a manager of the business or whatever is responding to those questions, that is a huge ranking signal, an absolutely huge ranking signal. But it's a negative signal if questions are asked and the business does not respond. Does that make sense? If you think about that, because Google wants businesses that are active and engaged with their customers in the 3-pack. And if people are submitting questions through the Google Business Profile, and the business owners or managers or whatever are not answering, if somebody from the company is not answering the questions in a timely fashion, then that's actually a negative ranking signal, if that makes sense, because Google's saying, okay, they're unresponsive to their customers. They don't deserve to be in the top spots, right? So we are also doing questions, but we make that a real caveat. We open it up for beta in our mastermind. We were only supposed to open up 50 slots, and we sold 61 slots before we could shut it down. So we know there's a real demand there, but we ask questions. We also can post reviews, and reviews that stick and they work, because we're building real Google profiles for our, and we're doing it in batches per city location, so that we have, several dozen Google Business Profiles, or excuse me, Google profiles they're all attached to mobiles. Everything is mobile device, mobile IPs. So, the reviews are sticking. I've been testing it for about a month now, and the reviews are sticking, which is great. We can also do driving signals, not just request driving directions, but we can actually drive from a random Latin long point within a radius around the business to the actual business. If it's a storefront business, if it's a service area business, we don't do that. Obviously, it makes sense not to do that. Looks like we lost Adam. But yeah, if it's a storefront business, then we can actually drive, not only request driving directions, but drive to the business. So here he comes back in. So anyways, I didn't want to go down too far, but it's in beta. Again, we're supposed to open it up for 50 slots. And it was in my mastermind webinar last Thursday, and it was only like 20 people on the webinar, and we sold 61 slots before the end of the webinar. so
couldn't pull the page down fast enough.
No, I couldn't. I didn't even know. It's crazy. Anyways, so it's in beta. It's going to be at least another month before we can open it up to a larger audience. We'll have a waiting list for it if anybody wants to sign up. We don't have I got a short link for it, Adam. I don't know if we want to direct people to there now or what. Should we?
Where's it going?
It's in the landing page that for opt-ins, if anybody's interested in getting
Yeah, might
being
as
on the
well. If
waiting
people
list.
right now know they're interested, then yeah, go ahead and let us know, and we'll be putting that out there again before we ramp things up.
Okay, because I have a short link in smshort.link that will redirect to that. But yeah, I guess we'll talk about it next week too. It's going to be a month before we can open it up again. But and when we do open it up again, it'll be still in beta. But because we want to stress test the system. We were doing it on a small scale with, a handful, a dozen or less properties, and now we've got 60 some properties to do it with. So we've got to work out some kinks and some bugs, but it's cool because, like I said, guys, we want it to be 100% done for you. We will do the research to determine, here's the thing, if anybody's ever purchased any reviews, to have reviews posted on Google Business Profiles, that's a pain in the ass. Why? Because you have to generate the review text, right? And it's a pain in the ass. It really is. It sucks. It's tedious work. Not only that, but every time I've seen people, well, not every time, but most all the times when I see people that have to, they purchase reviews and they have to come up with their own review text, the reviews don't read naturally. You can spot them. You can tell they're not real reviews because they're either too descriptive or they're stories, right? And or they try to squeeze too many keywords in and that kind of stuff. So again, we're not doing any of that. We're offering it like a done for you service, 100%. You just come in, you submit the form with the details for the Google Business Profile. There's a few options. Do you want reviews? Yes or no? If you do want reviews, how many maximum reviews per week? So that we can throttle it, make sure that we're not over posting too many reviews. Do you want questions? Yes or no? If you want our service to ask questions of the Google Business Profile, again, we encourage you to make sure that you're answering them or somebody is answering them. But once it's fully ready, it'll be 100% done for you. To make it simple, you just come in, you purchase however many locations you want. We do all the work for you, and you just watch as results are produced. I've seen movement in a matter of as little as 4 days from being outside of the 3-pack to lighting up a GeoGrid fully green in as little as 4 days from just a handful of signals, guys. It's incredibly powerful. Anybody that's taken Brock's course knows that it is, except that's very manual. And there's still some manual stuff that we have to do. There's no way that we can, at least yet, that we can automate it. But it's going to be 100% done for you. So if you're interested in that, just stay tuned. We'll post a way to sign up for the waiting list probably next week.
Cool. Well, yeah. So we touched on content last week too, which is definitely a part of this. But we've got a question about that this week. I think we can touch more on content, and then of course how we're doing that. Not only that, but the process behind it, and then content kinks, which we've talked about. I also wanted to mention to people, Bradley, you have been, I can't remember how much you talk about it on Hump Day Hangouts, which is why I'm bringing it up, because I get different webinars confused because we talk so much about this stuff. But with the link building you've been doing, is that open for everyone, or is that mastermind only still?
Well, it has been mastermind only, but I'm actually in the process of developing kind of some sales collateral and stuff so that I can take it outside of the mastermind for our audience here at the Hump Day Hangouts. If anybody's interested, they can check out semanticlinks.io. And that is, I could take a few additional link building clients. There's the VSL or the video that's on that landing page needs to be updated. I am not offering consultation services as part of the link building anymore. So if anybody goes to semanticlinks.io and they check it out and you watch that VSL, the methodology has it's evolved, right? I started this about 4 months ago, and I've through 4 months of doing high volume link building now, and I don't mean like spam links, but I mean doing a lot of high quality link building I got about 40 locations that I'm managing now. And so I've been doing a ton of link building for the last 4 months, and I've found discovered ways that just absolutely crush it. I mean, it's insane. And I haven't added the case studies and stuff yet, because I'm going to redo the video on that page. And when I do, in the video, I will show results that I have for, dozens of my link building clients now. Just huge movements in a month. And for more competitive, like really competitive areas, sometimes it takes 2 months. But I mean, just absolutely and crazy some of the jumps. Like we've got a real estate. I've got a real estate client in Las Vegas, and like super competitive Las Vegas real estate. And we, in 1 month's time, I mean, just I mean, it went from not found in the Google search grid in 1 month to about half of it green and half of it yellow, which means it's right outside the 3-pack. And again, I'm going to take screenshots of my different client reports and stuff that, you know, obviously blur out any sensitive data, but, and put that into the new VSL. But so if anybody watches that video, it's outdated. That was when I first launched the service. So I'm going to update that hopefully by Friday. But yeah, anyways, it's just a great service. And by the way, I do, if whenever we analyze, like whenever I get a new client, new location in, there's a whole process that we go through where we generate the backlink reports. We do full backlink analysis for the money site, the Google Business website, and the Google Map, right? So those 3 things we do full backlink analysis on. Then we also do full backlink analysis of the top 5 ranked competitors for whatever your primary search query is, right? So we end up producing a report. It's an Excel, Microsoft Excel. It's a graphic report with pie charts, and it shows the anchor text ratios of your 3 tier 0 assets plus the average of the top 5 ranked competitors. And then we basically lay out a plan that shows specifically what links are needed, how many, what strength they need to be, and everything to be able to rank, to beat out the competitors. I've developed a full program or a way to be able to identify, like, here's the link building plan that we need. We do this, you're going to rank, provided your on page is proper. And so I say that I don't do any consult. Like when I first launched the service, it was a combination of consultation plus link building. That's not scalable. I've got too many clients as it is now that I cannot continue to do that. So I've removed the consultation part of it. We still do the full analysis of all of that, competitive analysis. We provide you with the report. If anybody's curious, they could always schedule a call with me. I'll do a 15-minute Zoom call with you to discuss your project prior to signing up. And then I'll even do a free backlink analysis to show you what the plan is so you can decide if you want to join or not. And then throughout the process of analyzing the data, generating the reports, developing the plan, if I see anything on page, money site, Google Business website, or the Google Business profile assets period, if I see anything that is, needs to be corrected or that I, want to make recommendations for, then I will still fire up a screencast recording video and provide some consultation. It's just it's not a regular part of the service, but it is something that I just include if it's needed, if that makes sense.
All right. Well, I don't know about you, and I'm not trying, this sounds like, I don't know about you, sales pitch. Like, I don't know. I've never heard or used a link building service where I get a friggin' Zoom consultation. So that sounds pretty awesome to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, if anybody's interested and they want on the sales page, you can book a call with me, 15-minute call on Zoom call, or we can do it on phone, but it's certainly better via Zoom. And I'm happy to jump on and call with a call and answer any questions. I can even, I haven't put this on the sales page yet because like I said, I got to finish the VSL first, but we'll even do the backlink analysis for whatever your target search query is and the top 5 ranked competitors, and provide you with that competitive analysis and the link building plan for free, as that's kind of an incentive to join. Because once you see that we can develop the plan for you and show you exactly what needs to be done and how long it's going to take, then there's no reason, in my opinion, you'd be stupid not to join my service. So we're willing to give that up, because I know we'll get some people that'll come just take the damn report and run with it, and that's fine. The vast majority of people, I'm telling you, it's hands-free. We handle everything, full reporting and analysis and all of that. So anyways, enough pitching. Nice. Semanticlinks.io. If you're interested, go check it out.
You
Cool.
want to set the date to it?
I'm sorry?
You want to set the date to it? How long this is valid?
No, it's open. I mean, it's open now.
Sounds good. Well, I put the link on the page, guys. Go and check that out if you're interested. And we will of course be updating you. We're interested in people getting in for the engagement, the signals, what we kicked off talking about for your Google Business profile. But we also want to do this the right way, and we will be doing it the right way. We're going to be rolling it out as a beta and expanding that as we go. So we will be putting out links where you can sign up to get notified, and we will definitely be using that for the people who are the most interested. They'll be contacted first. And then it'll be like when we very first opened it up, we'll have a limited number of seats. Yes, maybe we like went over the first time, but now we know how to shut it off properly. So we will have a limited number of seats. And when we say, hey, we got, 50, we're taking 50, and then we shut it down and make sure we can keep that going and get everyone on board, and then provide the results, make sure things are working, and then ramp it up from there. So
yeah.
With that said, guys, I think that's about it. We got several questions to get to. So if you want, let's hop in.
Let's do it.
Looks like Jasper K has got the first question.
All right. He says, in a previous video, I recall Bradley saying that iframed content from other sites on a page count as content. Is this still true? Yes, it's still true. And if so, do they count towards keyword density for the page they are on? For example, embedding a news article within a blog post on the money site. That's a really good question. I'm not 100% sure. I know Google will read the content through an iframe, because a lot of the stuff that I do with G sites, right? So Google sites, sites.google.com is, I just I've got a specific vendor that I use now for Google sites. I'm going to bring that in-house. I just haven't had the time to train somebody yet, but I'm going to end up bringing that in-house. But currently I have a vendor that I use to develop the G sites and the drive stacks, and they're one page G site with drive stack, right? It's all on one page on the home page of the G site. And I like to do that way now, because I do all of my theme mirroring, which is essentially building, the same kind of silo structure in the G site that I have on my money site. And then I use that for what I call the content mirroring method, which we talk about in the mastermind. We gave that away, the training for the content mirroring method between Black Friday and Cyber Monday last year in 2021. Anyways, it's very, very powerful. And for that, all we do is create pages on the G site, and all the only content that's needed for those pages are embeds. They're iframes. That's it. We don't need any other text other than the title, or the page title, or the page title itself. That's the only text on the page. And then we also put a link. We interlink the pages within the silo by keyword anchor text links at the bottom of the page. And that's just to daisy chain the pages together. But that's it. All the content is iframed, right? I talk about this in the content mirroring method, but if it's for a local project, which 99% of everything that we do and all of our members do are in the local, we start with Google Business Posts, right? So if you got a money site, whatever content you have on your money site, if it's a long form landing page with jump links, which is my preferred method now. So table of contents links that jump down to the specific heading sections on the page. You could do it. You could use those as kind of like your target for a Google Business Post silo. Or you could do a traditional type of silo, which is a top of silo page and then supporting articles as posts, right? That are all kind of linking together and linking up to that top of silo page. So whatever, you just summarize that text. Either it's long form landing page and you summarize heading sections, or you summarize blog posts into each of its own individual Google Business Post. In other words, Google Business Posts can accept about 1,500 words of content, right? Or 1,500 characters, excuse me. So they're about 200 to 225 words on average. So we use those 200-ish words to summarize either heading sections on long form landing page or summarize blog posts in a traditional silo, right? So supporting posts in a traditional silo. So each Google Business Post is a summary of either a blog post or of a heading section on a long form landing page, right? So we daisy chain those Google Business Posts together, or in what I call a mirror silo, right? Which links the CTA button over to the corresponding blog post or the section on a long form landing page, depending on which format you're using. And now you've got Google Business Posts. Google Business Posts can be embedded, guys. So now you've got, usually like 5 is what I don't know. That's just usually what I do, is a 5 post silo. So now you've got 5 Google Business Posts that then you can create YouTube videos out of those text, right? The 200 words per post can be each a separate YouTube video. Then you create a YouTube silo, right? And use apps like wave.video or Pictory or any one of those types of Vidnami was one that used to be around. I don't think it's around anymore, but any sort of those like video apps that will create videos and do text to speech. Makes it very easy to produce videos from those Google business posts. So now you've got 5 Google business posts, 5 YouTube videos, right? They're all solid together. And then you could start with just the Google site and then create pages. So 5 pages that are daisy chained together, right? And then you just embed the Google business post and the YouTube video. That's all the content you need. You don't need any additional content, right? You can also add a layer in between the YouTube and the Google site and do a blogger mirror, right? So you kind of mirror the structure and the same sort of content mirror process with Blogger. And then again, you just embed the YouTube video and the Google business post, right? So now you've got Blogger that has got 2 embeds, the Google business post and YouTube video. Now you can iframe or embed the Blogger pages into the G site. So you see how you make like those Russian dolls, like one, there's a smaller doll inside a bigger doll. You know what I mean? Like the dolls keep getting smaller and smaller. That's kind of what you do with this, is create iframes that are like never ending. If you ever look between 2 mirrors, you stood between 2 mirrors and looked into one of them, you know how it's like smaller and smaller and just keeps going on until you can't see it anymore. That's exactly what happens when you do this kind of iframe stacking stuff. And so I started to tell you all that because when the G site, or if you add Blogger into that, when the Blogger gets indexed or when the G site gets indexed, it'll show in the rich, the meta description in the index content, even if there's no content on the page except for iframes. It'll pull in the content from the Google business post, for example. So yes, it absolutely reads it. Does it count towards keyword density? I don't know. That's a good question. I think it does. I think it does because I know that when I'm doing analysis, on-page analysis, and I'm using tools like Surfer SEO or things like that, and I'm analyzing a local business competitor that has like a bunch of reviews, and they have one of those Google review widgets that will show, a bunch of Google business profile reviews that kind of carousel through. They're like sliders, that just go through. Then oftentimes it'll show, the page might only have 500 words of content, but it'll show 3,500 words of content in the tool. And it's because it's pulling in all of those, the text from the reviews. So I don't know if it actually affects the keyword density, but I'm pretty sure that it does, Jasper, because, the more that I think about it now, I know that Google will read that content, and I'm pretty sure the tools also pull that in because I know that affects the word count, which is also kind of misleading. That's part of the reason, guys, it's interesting that you brought this up too, because I was just watching another webinar with Eric Lancheres of onpage.ai, and his tool is really good. It's expensive. It's freaking expensive, but I use this in link building for my link building service. But this is a great tool because the way that this does a lot of like what Surfer does, Surfer SEO does. It's got Google's NLP into it, so it will analyze content and tell you what the named entities are and what to do to tune the content. But this is also cool because it has the ability to do with like check backlinks and see how Google is categorizing the topics of the backlinks and things like that. But I brought this up because the way that he's generated this tool is to only analyze the text within the body, the article body of a page. Like, in other words, his tool specifically will not analyze like the headers, sidebars, and footers of a page. It will only analyze the article within the post body, right, or the article body of the page. And so this is a really good tool for that kind of stuff, guys, whereas some of the other tools will actually analyze the entire page. As I just mentioned, using something like Surfer SEO, it will oftentimes pull in, even though the page only has 500 words in the actual article body, it'll show like 3,000 words of content. And that's because it's pulling in content from review sliders or review carousels, sidebars, footers, all that kind of stuff. So, again, I think I think it does count towards that, Jasper, but I haven't specifically tried to test that. If anybody else knows, post, please. It's a good question. Bobby says, image links versus text links. Is there any difference in SEO power? For example, if we get a text link to our money site with a branded anchor and get an anchor link to our money, or excuse me, get another link to our money site from an image with our brand name as the alt text. Both links are pointing at money site homepage. Yeah, no, that's fine. Because image links with alt text, the alt text is the anchor text. If you have a image link, so a backlink from a photo or an image that does not contain alt text, it's an empty anchor, which is the same classification as an iframe, right? Or a redirect. That's again, in my link building business, we do anchor text classification, and we always classify backlink profiles. And then we come up with anchor text ratios, and all backlinks fall into one of 5 anchor text categories or anchor text types, right? There's number 1, which is brand/URL. Number 2, which is miscellaneous, or another term for that would be generic. Number 3 is empty or frame anchors. That's where this would fall into that. So an iframe, a redirect, or an image backlink, an image anchor without alt text. That would fall into the empty/frame anchor category. Number 4 is target anchors. So that's keyword plus location modifier, which could be keyword plus city, city plus keyword, keyword plus near me, or any variation of near me, such as nearby, in my area, close to me, around me. All of those are location modifiers. So that's a target anchor. And then a topic anchor is a keyword only. So product or service with no location modifier. So yeah, and so image links are with alt text. The alt text is the anchor text. That's what's considered the anchor text. But if you have no anchor text, then it's an empty anchor. And as far as I know, there's no difference. That's not something I've specifically tested, but I know that the alt text counts as the anchor text. And so we count those as anchor text links when there's alt text. When there's no alt text, we count those as empty/frame anchors. So they go into category 3, if that makes sense. They're all good links as long as they're, in good sources, they're good links. Okay. I don't know if one's more powerful than the other. I know that, generally, again, it depends on how when we do backlink analysis, we pull up your anchor text ratios, we classify all the backlinks, and then we come up with an average of the top 5 ranked competitors, an average anchor text ratio for the top 5 competitors, so that you, when you want to be competitive, you want to try to get close to whatever the average of the top 5 ranked competitors are for anchor text ratios. And so image links, again, can be valuable with the alt text. You got to be careful though, because like, for example, if somebody were to pick up an image that is hot linked to one of your properties, and it has a keyword anchor, an exact, a target anchor, for example, which would be an exact match anchor. And then it gets picked up and syndicated all over the place, right? That could be a bunch of links coming back to your site with one anchor. So you got to be careful with that stuff. BB, what's up, BB? He says, hey guys, what benefit there is for going after not money keywords, meaning going after the top of funnel keywords? How do you find the money keywords? Do you already have to know the niche, or based pure on PPC value, or what the competitors are ranking for? That's an indication. I'll tell you guys, one of the best damn tools on the web right now, in my opinion, for keyword research is Writer Zen, and it's on AppSumo. You can get a lifetime deal, and it is outstanding. It is a fantastic keyword tool, man. I'm telling you, it's got to be my favorite. Offer ends in 2 days. I might end up buying another 4 codes for this for real, because we're using the shit out of this tool right now. They've got a fantastic keyword tool. It does topic discovery first, which is where you should always start now, not keywords, but topics. Once you identify your topics and subtopics, then you go into keyword research. And then why I love this tool so much is because it has an all-in title function that will show you what the true competition is. And it's really, really powerful. I think it's probably one of the best tools available right now. There's another tool that I'm trying to think of which one it was that I got another tool that I was just using last week that shows you whether it's commercial intent, transactional intent, or informational intent. I believe, well, SEMrush does that. SEMrush has a classification of what type of keyword it is. Is it, what type of intent there is behind the keyword. But this one doesn't have that, but it does, like I said, it does the all in title. And what they've got their own algorithm that they built into it called the golden score. And that's what this image here is showing. And it does, so it will show you competition as well as their own algorithm or filters that they built in, which again, they have by ranking probability. Their golden filter has two settings. It can show you the keywords by ranking probability or by what they call the potential value. And so this is a fantastic tool, BB. I'm just pointing this out because, again, it's going to end in 2 days, and it's I stacked all 4 codes because that's the most you can do. So it's $276, guys, but it's an outstanding tool. You pay for it one time, then it's got an AI writing assistant in it, which uses GPT-3, but that's a separate subscription. It's $99 a month, but it's unlimited. So that's great. And then they also have NLP. You can buy NLP credits if you want to analyze content to do like on-page stuff, like produce content and everything else. We're not really using Writer's End for that, even though it can be used for producing full-on articles and all that, because, you know, we've got a full process that we developed for our Content King service using various other tools already. But for my link building business, we are using this tool for the keyword research like every day. It's just an outstanding tool for that. So I would encourage you guys to pick this up. You only got 2 days left before it ends. So it's an outstanding tool. I figure, like, again, this for on-page stuff, for like developing content and doing keyword topic and keyword research is an outstanding tool. And then like this tool, like I said, onpage.ai, it's expensive, but man, is it a good tool. It's one of the best out there, I think. So anyway, yes, is there a benefit? Yeah, BB, there is a benefit for going to top of funnel keywords. I mean, you know, if you're trying to make money, you want to start with the bottom of funnel keywords, right? So those are keywords with commercial intent, with purchase intent, right? Generally. So if you're trying to make money to begin with, like, you want to start there. They're certainly more competitive, but generally, once you have, you know, you've got something monetized, a product, a service, a blog, whatever, you've got something that's monetized, that's generating revenue, then you want to start widening the net, right? So that you can catch people at an earlier stage of the sales cycle and, you know, pull them into your kind of like your ecosystem. In other words, if you can snag somebody when they're in the research phase, so the information stage, before they're ready to, like, before they're trying to decide whether or not they even need to make a purchase, right? So they're just researching things. If you can pull them in at that point and like get them to click on something that takes them to one of your assets and put them on a remarketing list, right? Now you've got access to be able to send, to follow them around the web with ads to remind them when they're ready to make that purchase decision. Once they've, you know, completed their research, they've looked at some different options and blah, blah, blah. You're constantly in front of them, right? With remarketing ads, which, you know, I just use Google, but you can do Facebook as well and everything else, but you remarket on YouTube, remarket with Google Display Network ads, all that kind of stuff. So that's a great way to do it. Also top of funnel keywords. So like informational queries, if you can provide valuable information to help them with their research, give them some reason to opt in, right? Give them some sort of white paper or something that, you know, or free report or whatever. I know that seems antiquated, but that actually still works when somebody's genuinely interested. So, I mean, there's just a number of ways that using top of funnel keywords is valuable. But I wouldn't recommend starting off with that because it's not going to produce revenue for you right away. If that makes sense. Anybody want to comment on that? I don't know if you guys have any input on that.
No, I think that's good.
Okay. Yeah, and that's the other thing. If you have access to Google Keyword Planner and it's showing you accurate metrics, which they're not really all that accurate anyways, but if you're advertising with Google and it will show you search volume, well, even then it's not necessarily, you don't really necessarily need to see the search volume values as much as the cost per click values, but that is another good way, BB. If you're looking at keywords within a specific theme, right, that are all related in Google Keyword Planner, and then you look at what the average cost per click is to be at the top of the page. That's what I always look at, right? There's a specific column for that. then that'll give you an idea too. Informational queries are generally a lot less expensive. Transactional queries or queries with commercial intent generally have fetch a much higher cost per click. So that's another way to do it. It's not my preferred method, but it is certainly a way that you could do it, right? But yeah, I'm telling you guys, go check out Writer's Zen. It's outstanding. How do you charge? Question from the group. How do you charge for content? Is that part of a package or is it an add-on? I'm not sure I understand that question. For my clients, it's part of their retainer. Like, in other words, I know what my costs are for my articles, for my bloggers to generate content. And so we build that into the monthly retainer. Does that make sense? Now, if clients ask for additional work, then, it depends on how frequent it is. If it's something where I'm constantly getting asked for additional work, then we definitely charge them for that. But sometimes I have clients that, they have a new product or new service that they want to promote, or a special or something like that. And they'll notify me, usually via email, like, hey, we got this, what can you do to promote that? I'll say, we'll do an extra press release, something like that. I do that a lot for my clients. Yeah, we just work the content costs into the retainer. We don't charge separate for that unless, like I said, it's a special project that is going to require a lot of additional work or whatever. And then in that case, then I'll just send them an invoice, say, okay, here's the invoice, and that's it. It can go either way, is what I'm saying, right? Adam says from the Facebook group, are the timestamp URLs for YouTube videos good link targets? So that URL has a timestamp in the description for the 23-second mark, even though it loads fine and it doesn't redirect anywhere in my browser. Wheregoes says it has a 302 and a weird error when I check it there, which is why I'm asking the question. I was planning on adding timestamps for all of my YouTube video descriptions and then adding those additional link URLs to my link building file along with my main. That's a good question. I've not looked at that. Let me grab this for a minute.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just went to redirectchecker.org and I just see, I'm not seeing it as a redirect, but maybe.
Okay. Well, so this URL here, which is the share URL, the u2.be URL, that's always a redirect.
Yeah.
And that's a 302 redirect. So, yes, it will, that's not.
But that's interesting because he's got the YouTube, the full. So I guess you could take the
we're gonna do that in a minute. I just want to demonstrate this for everyone else. So what the hell is a 303 redirect? That's interesting. I'm not even familiar with what that is. A 303, what is a 303 redirect? That's interesting. A see other status code. That's interesting. I'll have to research that. I've not. Let's see. Experts also note that in some cases where browsers do not understand the 303 redirect, a 302 status code may be interchangeable. So I mean, it doesn't pass PageRank. I get it, but that's the first time I've seen a 303 redirect. I'll have to do a little bit more digging into that. But anyways, let me let's go ahead and take that question mark T equals 2, which just means 2 seconds. And we're going to take the full URL and append that time code to the end. And then we'll go take a look at that one in Wheregoes as well. Learn something new every day. 303 redirect. It's interesting. All right, so this is the full URL. That's a test 200. So according to Wheregoes, it would still push link equity into the YouTube video URL, even with the timestamps, which is, that makes sense to me because, we use jump links all the time, which all this is a video jump link, right? It's a jump link that takes you to a specific section in the video, just like a jump link, or another term for it is an anchor link in content, like a table of contents plugin. It's an anchor link or a jump link to a specific section on the page. Well, this is similar, right? It takes you to a specific section in the video. And jump links, I build links to those all the time. I was just talking about the content mirroring method at the top of this webinar, and that's where I do a lot of long form landing page stuff now instead of traditional silos. For most local stuff, that works really well. And so I do table of contents plugins, and then now we have jump links to H2 headings, right, throughout the long form article. And so I build links directly to those jump links, those links that go to the H2 sections, and it works. It works great. So I can't imagine this not working as long as it's not a 302 redirect or a 303, as we just discovered. It should work fine. And this looks like it appears that there's not a redirect. I've not done that because I don't do a lot of YouTube SEO stuff. I really focus on with YouTube. I just run ads. It's just inexpensive and easy to manage. But yeah, that should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's a 200, which means there's no redirect. So it should work. That's a good question. Interesting. Ramiz says, hey, Bradley, been watching your videos on YouTube and I got a question. Can you show us how to do your GMB audit or the factors you look out for to see which markets are competitive and which ones are low hanging fruits? Yeah, I mean, I do that. We talk a lot about that kind of stuff in the mastermind. Where can we get this done for you? I guess is what that is. Do I have to be in the mastermind? Well, I mean, yeah, I don't just audit people's Google business profiles for free. I mean, if you're in the mastermind and that's something you want done, then I can do it on one of the mastermind webinars. Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't have time to go through that right now today, but it used to be easier, I think. I mean, there's a couple of really good apps for that. GMB Crush is a Chrome extension that works really good for helping you do analyze competition. Just look it up, GMB Crush. Mateo is the guy that runs that. And it's a Chrome extension, and it's got it's got some really cool features. And I know they're launching like a much more thorough like suite of tools and everything. So I would check out GMB Crush. This is a really good service. As I started to say, or it's a great Chrome extension. As I started to say, there's another one that I've been using too. You can see it in my browser. It's called, which just kind of gives you information. But like if we go to, I don't know, let's just go find something. Plumber Culpeper. So we'll go into the map. Okay. So you'll see in just a second, this is the Plepper tool extension. Let's see, maybe I have to click into one of them. You know what, it's giving me some weird, oh, you know what? This is that weird pro services thing. Let me back out for a minute. Just go to Google Maps. How about that? Google's doing some weird stuff again. They're changing the interfaces again. That's why it keeps breaking the CTR tools because they keep changing a bunch of stuff. All right, so you'll see here, this popped up. You see that? That's Plepper Tools. I think it's called Plepper Local SEO Tools. This is an extension. They have some paid stuff too, but you can see like it shows category analysis. This is a great extension as well. And again, it's free. Like I'm not using any of the paid stuff, but like if we were to click onto one of these, you'll see that then it brings up additional information about this specific location. And it's a really cool extension, but I would encourage you to use a tool like this or GMB Crush or something like that, where you can go start analyzing competitor, like, multiple businesses in a particular location. And you can start to get an idea of what's being done. Also, I use Bright Local. And I've been using Bright Local since like 2013. So Bright Local has some pretty good competition analysis in their reporting, right? So you can set up keyword reporting, local search grid reporting, Google Business, like it does Google Business analysis. There's local SEO reporting, which I don't really like, but the Google Business analysis shows the competitors, and it will show, and also the local search grids do too. It will show you how many reviews all the competitors have, how many backlinks, all that kind of stuff. So that, again, just use one of the tools, guys. Bright Local is what I use, but there's other tools out there that do something similar. These extensions are also pretty good for that stuff too. So, okay. If you want to join the mastermind, like I said, I can certainly analyze and do competition analysis for you as part of one of the mastermind webinars. Plus, you get a 30-minute one-on-one Zoom call with me whenever you join the mastermind. It's something we could address at that point. But yeah, like I said, just go through, and any sort of tool that can show you all the stats for Google business locations you can use to compare the various businesses that are ranked, right? So usually just look at the top 5, and out of those top 5, you'll be able to determine what it's going to take to be competitive. Does that make sense? Okay, we're almost done. For now, yes, but we'll see. Okay, so last one, I guess, is thanks, Adam. Okay, question. So I only have to have a GMB verified and live, and you guys will take care of the rest. Is it going to be a subscription or a one-time payment? Okay, you must be talking about the
the signals and engagement.
Yeah, it's a subscription. It's a monthly subscription because it's ongoing signals. So yes, it's a monthly subscription, and as long as the Google business profile doesn't even have to be verified, it just has to be published. Right? Certainly it should be verified, but if it's not verified, as long as it's published and we can find it on the web, we can run with it. The problem with, and it's not really a problem, but unverified Google business profiles, you're unable to answer questions. I don't even know if you can ask a question to an unverified Google business. You can leave reviews on unverified Google profiles, but you can't. I don't know if you can ask questions. You can't publish posts, obviously. You can't publish the Google business website. It's like having your hands tied behind your back. Certainly it makes sense to have a verified profile, Google business profile. But as long as it's published, we can still send signals to it, such as driving directions, if it's a storefront business, click-through activity, which would be like, search and click, engaging on the profile itself, looking at photos, because even if it's not a verified Google business profile, it can have photos uploaded by customers or Google users that just upload photos to it. I mean, it's possible. It's interesting because I had my got a pest control company that I've been doing SEO for since 2014, and since 2014, I've been asking their techs. I've been asking the owners and the project manager and everything to get their technicians to, because it's an outdoor pest control company, it does like mosquito and tick control and that kind of stuff. It's a very seasonal business, but I've been asking them for years to, whenever their technicians are out on location at a customer's premises to spray for ticks and mosquitoes and all that stuff, to just take a couple of photos from their phone and just upload it. Don't even need access to a Google business app, right? You don't need that. You only need that if you're a manager and you want to publish posts and things like that. You can just take photos and upload them through Google Maps to the Google business profile, right? And technicians that work for a company can do that. And as long as their location settings are on their phone, then that data, where they're at, is part of the metadata. So in case you guys aren't aware of this, if any of you have Android phones and you have location settings turned on your phone, just take a photo, and then go to Google Photos and open up the photo, and you can do it on your desktop computer or laptop computer. After you've taken the phone from your Android, just go to Google Photos on your desktop or laptop computer, and then open up the photo, and then click on the eye icon, which is like an eye in a circle, which stands for information. You click on that, and it will show you like where you were on a map, like when that photo was taken. If you do a video and you happen to be driving, like when you're taking a video, it'll tell you the speed, the velocity you were going while you were recording that video. It's crazy how much data comes through from images that are taken by a phone. And so that's why I've tried to get my technicians to, the pest control technicians for this one company for years. I've been telling them, you don't need access to the Google business app. Your technicians don't need to be managers or of any of that. All they need to do is on site, take photos, 2 or 3 photos at every job. That's it. Just take 2 or 3 photos and upload them to Google Maps, like for your business profile in Google Maps. And that'll have a huge effect on your ability to rank in maps. And I just finally got a call. It was either yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday, from the project manager at that company, and he had his lead technician on the phone. It was a 3-way conference call, and it was just out of the blue. And he was like, I got Jonathan, or a technician, with me, and he's going to start taking photos. And we're talking about for years I've been asking, and you're finally doing it. And I was like, hey, better late than never, man. So I showed them how to do it, and they just started uploading photos just yesterday. So anyway, I say all of that because it's very, very powerful. And I encourage you guys to try it. Encourage your customers, your clients, excuse me, to, especially for service area businesses, to have their technicians do that. Just whenever they're out on a job site, take 2 or 3 photos. That's it. And then just upload it through Google Maps. It will have a huge influence on the ability to rank. So, all right, I think that's it. Let's wrap it up, guys. We'll see you all.